Hello, guys. Warm welcome back. So, this is really becoming a strange year. I, I think it's a weird year anyway, but it gets weirder if that's even possible. Mm, Nigel Farage has revamped the Brexit Party as Reform the UK. This is recently. He's only a couple of days ago, I think this came out, really. He's been in the news a little bit recently. I mean, everything is overshadowed by COVID and lockdown, but he's been in the news in the news or the public eye a little bit because he's been showing up at Trump rallies. So yeah. If you're a US citizen or then you will know of him right now. You will have seen him around. Yeah, he's thinks that ordinary families should be able to live their life and not be put into lockdown and have their lives stopped. He thinks that the elderly and the vulnerable should be protected, but ordinary healthy people should be able to get on with their lives. So he has criticised the government in that respect. He's also said that small businesses are being destroyed because of lockdown, because they cannot get the numbers in that they need, and they're not getting the business because obviously people are a bit afraid to go out. He thinks that we can still look after our health and hygiene by washing hands and using sanitizers and things like that, but that lockdown is not effective, but we can still take the measures needed and get on with our lives without staying in our homes. He believes in a herd immunity approach. He doesn't think, like I said, he doesn't think lockdown works, apparently. And yeah, he's he's criticized the hope on a vaccine. He called it a, quote, miraculous vaccine, and says we are waiting for something that could take years, months to happen, and that it might not potentially be safe to take anyway. This has been a concern of mine also. What else? He's been talking up Trump's chances of winning at the election. He's a, quote, friend of Trump's, and yeah, but interesting stuff. I mean, what do you think? He wants to put a stop to lockdown. I know a lot of people want that. A lot of people are fed up. So interesting. What do you think about that one? I'm skeptical. It might just be a stunt to get people on his side, But interesting. I didn't expect it or see it coming. It's kind of come out of the blue, but that's typical 2020 fashion, really. So yeah. I'll put the link with the actual article in the bio of the video, and so you can read up on it and everything. But that's really it. He wants to end lockdowns and has proposed a different approach. Yeah. Thank you for watching, and keep your bell on for any other notifications of new videos, because I'll continue to upload throughout lockdown. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.
He says that lockdown leads to economic disaster, leads to mass depression, and leads to vast numbers of people losing their jobs, their security, their general sense of well-being. He says the vulnerable can protect themselves, the rest of us have to learn to live with it. But I think what's interesting, at least in America, they've got a choice. At least in America, they're having a debate, because we are locking down from Wednesday, and this has been decreed by Boris Johnson. Guess what? Sir Keir Starmer 100% agrees, as do all the other political parties represented in Westminster. There has to be a vote before this happens. Oh, sure, there'll be a few backbench Tory MPs that will rebel. The rest of them, they get flipped off, they get bribed, they'll get blackmailed. So we are heading for lockdown, and there's a growing number of us in the country who see that what lockdown means, even in health terms, is disastrous. You know, I was talking just 2 days ago to a charity in Kent, a diabetes charity in Kent. They've got 100,000 patients they're looking after. Not a single one of them has been screened since March. So, I mean, goodness knows what that means for amputations, for blindness, and that's just diabetes. Lung cancer diagnoses are down 75%, and the figures for chronic heart condition are not far behind that. Remember, the first lockdown was to protect the NHS. We finished up with 35,000 empty beds in our hospitals. We're going back into that. So I think it's quite possible to say, given the average age of death thus far in the UK is 82 years and 3 months, which is pretty much around average life expectancy. I think it's quite safe to say that what the second lockdown means is that ultimately more people will die of other illnesses because they've not been diagnosed than will die from COVID-19. And I just want to say a word this morning particularly about the self-employed, the sole traders, people running little businesses, people running small restaurants. I really do fear that the second lockdown is going to be the end for many of them, particularly as Michael Gove this morning has said, well, it might not be a month, it might be longer than that. I do understand that Boris Johnson doesn't want an historical legacy that says that, you know, a huge number of people died and he didn't act. I know it's fear that is driving him, but frankly, I've had enough of lockdown. I mean, they're almost trying to put us back under house arrest in terms of travelling. And I think there's now a great number of people who think that whether a miracle vaccine is around the corner or not, and I have to say I'm slightly sceptical about that. I'm slightly sceptical too about whether people would take it, because they're going to say, hey, this is new, this is experimental. So what do we do? Do we go on locking down again and again and again? Do we as a country literally go bankrupt? Do we see suicides continuing to spike in the way that they are, millions of people unemployed? Or do we say, actually, we have no choice but to learn to live with this? And yeah, we've got to be sensible about hand washing, if we can possibly social distancing. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This second lockdown says to me that the cure is now worse than the disease, and the frustration that has been felt out there by people. There is no political voice